Hey everyone, welcome to Stand and Empower. And in today's segment, I have my special guest, Dr. Paula McCall. Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. So tell us a little bit about what is it that you do, what you're passionate about.
It's a big question. So, I'm a psychologist. So my passion is working in the realm of mental health. So I guess that's kind of like the short summary. But really my passion goes into multiple elements of what that means. I am very passionate about suicide prevention.
Okay.
I work a lot in the realm of suicide prevention, both in my practice as well as in my nonprofit, and really focusing on building community education and awareness and empowerment. When I work with individuals, my focus is on building empowerment, building understanding, building self-understanding. In my private practice, I do a lot of evaluations that help people clarify where they're coming from, what their diagnosis is, and what that means moving forward in an empowering way, so that they can feel that they have control and that they have a sense of who they are and what they need. So in broad sense, it's the mental health realm.
And how did you get into that world? Like, what is it that called you to it?
That's a good question. I started out as a special education teacher. So I really thought that's what I would be doing. When I was a teenager, I worked with other teens with intellectual disabilities and neurodiversity and in an adapted recreation camp. And I loved it. And so I delved into special education as a teacher for students that needed those supports. But I burned out quickly. So then I ended up shifting into school psychology, educational psychology, and working as a school psychologist. And I loved doing that. But in that realm, there were pieces that started calling to me more. There were these students who were really struggling with their mental health, really struggling with suicidal ideation. We lost some students to suicide.
Wow. So sad.
And so these other pieces started coming out where I wanted a broader impact, and I wanted to be able to focus that impact in those areas to really build that empowerment and moving forward and strength and resiliency. And so that's why I shifted into private practice. But then I also shifted into the nonprofit world because I really believed that there was something missing in the community level. And so I really wanted to, in those experiences that I had as a school psychologist, I also really connected, I think, with myself as a youth, who I myself was suicidal as a youth. And I really struggled for various reasons and various factors, and just because sometimes we just struggle. And I kind of shifted that part of my history back and kept moving, which is what a lot of us do. And then as a school psychologist working with youth who are struggling in some similar ways to what I had been, I felt really called to do further connection in that realm. So it was like a merging of the worlds into moving forward. So I try to embody that in my practice, in how I work with individuals, with evaluations and with therapy, but also within the nonprofit and how we're connecting with the community and building community supports and education.
Wow, it's so important how you integrated all of that together, and how, you can use anything, right? From your past, from your history. You're thinking that, I push it back, but there's bits and pieces there that are so important with just that, like you mentioned, the connection and relating to those around you.
And that's such a good point, right? Because those kinds of pieces, those are the things that we view in a shameful perspective. Those are the things we like, I went through that was my dark days, that was my bad times, instead of saying, you know what, there's a piece to me, like part of who I am came from those pieces. And while I certainly don't want to go back and live those again, I learned and gained information and knowledge and just awareness and empathy that I can use to connect with other people and to connect forward in some way.
So important. And I strongly believe that God can use anything, right? No matter how broken we think we are or what our past looks like. He can use anything.
Well, and and it's interesting too, because I didn't realize I was doing that at all. Like it wasn't until Semicolon Society was probably 1 or 2 years old that I made the connection with, look at all these dots that have connected. But what I did was I listened to that inner part of me that was saying, like, do this thing. do this thing, check this out. You want to make, we get those ideas like someone should do this. Yes. Someone should do that. Maybe that's someone, maybe that's me telling myself I should do that, or I should explore that, or what would that path look like, and look into it.
Yeah. Very important. So if you're watching this, you're listening to this, and if you feel that calling in some direction in your life, even if you don't know where to start, just take little steps and start heading out in that direction, and get some clarity right along the way. And don't quit, don't give up.
It's amazing when you start like exploring or asking questions or just bringing up in a conversation like the people that you end up connecting with, and like the pathways that open up. And it's just like, it just happens. And at certain points in our life, I think we're just more open to those things happening than others, right? Just based on where we are.
This puzzle, right, that you're putting together, you're piecing together, or connections that you're making because of the steps that you've taken. How many people have you impacted? How much youth have you reached? To me, like, looking at you and what you do, I'm just amazed, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome that you just took those steps that you needed to follow through and are continuing to make that impact.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I try. I think we all do, right? Yeah. It's interesting that you say that too, because I've had conversations with people about like, we don't know the impact that we make, right? Because especially those positive impacts that we make, like looking like suicide prevention. Yeah. Suicide prevention is not just in that moment of suicide risk. Suicide prevention, the pathway to suicide is very long. It's a whole trajectory. And so there's so many opportunities for prevention along the way. That football coach that takes an extra 10 minutes to let the student know that he really cares about him. That could be suicide prevention, and we have no idea. Right. Absolutely. And so there's so many impacts. And so, I've talked to people about that. That's like, we can't really know what impact we've had because we've essentially altered trajectories. Yeah. And that's pretty powerful. Like, I did what? Right. I know, but yet we can't see it. Yeah. Right. We can't see it. We have to believe that to be true. Yeah. And sometimes we do get feedback. Sometimes we get that person that comes to us and says, oh my gosh, that thing that you did, that changed my life. And it's usually things that we don't like that. Like that changed your life. Like that was the thing that I did. And so it just speaks to like, if you follow your heart and follow your intuition and do those things, like you have to believe that you are making some sort of positive impact. And probably you are, if it feels like you have, if it feels like you did something or you connected or just like that was a good conversation, then you probably did.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Just being aware and just noticing it, and you don't know, right? You don't know. You do the work and everything will fall into place, and what needs to happen will happen. Yeah. Well, for you, how did you decide with just overall your foundation, right? That you created? How did you come up with the name? Like what were the steps?
So Semicolon Society was actually named by my son. Okay. And that was the pathway to Semicolon Society was, it started in the roots when I was a school psychologist. And part of the things I realized was like, parents need more education. And so I started a group called Prepared Parenting. It wasn't a nonprofit. It was just an educational focus group where we do like workshops and things like that. And then, but it never like became more of a thing other than that. And then the pandemic hit and people started asking me, like, can you do a conversation about this? Or, how are we going to connect with people here? And I realized like, it's not just parents, it's everyone, right? Yeah. The community, all the community needs support. And so, and I'd always envisioned doing something, as a psychologist, we do conferences and trainings and, we know all these best practices, like what are the things that actually matter to mental health? What are the things but I've always thought like, well, how do we translate that into like, we know these things, how do we actually make that into the community? So with those pieces together, with the pandemic, realizing it's community wide and wanting to make those connections, finally just decided, it's time. Like this is not just me anymore. This needs to be a thing. This needs to be an organization that can be bigger than what I do. Yeah. And so the name is funny because I spent 2 days scribbling names and ideas and things like that on notebook paper, thinking about songs, thinking about poems, like everything. And my son, I think who was 15 at the time, walked in and he said, why don't you just call it Semicolon Society?
Wow. You're like,
I was like, where were you 2 days ago? But, and the semicolon is a symbol of moving forward, continuing on. In grammar, the semicolon continues a sentence rather than ends it. So the semicolon is embraced nationwide. We didn't create it as a symbol. It's been embraced nationwide for a long time. I mean, worldwide, really, as the symbol of suicide prevention and general mental wellness moving forward, continuing on. So calling it Semicolon Society really just embraces that. You'll see people, I have a semicolon tattoo. You'll see people with tattoos and jewelry and things like that. And it's just, it's a way of saying, like, what's the next thing? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, no matter what those situations are that we have. And so Semicolon Society is about that. We try to connect people with resources. We table at events. We host events. We have different opportunities for people to come together and just connect in a positive way. Again, building some of the things that matter in suicide prevention is having hope. It's having a sense of connection and belongingness. It's feeling like you have a purpose. So we try to, in those events, just build those pieces. Sometimes we talk about suicide and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're just talking about bringing people together and connecting people. Or getting people to do a food drive because now we feel like we're giving to someone else. So building some of those pieces.
Now, if someone wants to volunteer, do you take volunteers?
Oh, absolutely.
What do they need to do?
So for volunteers for Semicolon Society, we are all inclusive and all embracing of everyone. Anyone is welcome, any background, any identity, anyone is welcome to be a part. We are actually a bit of a family ourselves, as volunteers, or we kind of connect with each other. We look after each other. We're all in it for some reason, right? We've all been impacted or have had personal experiences, whether it's mental health, suicide, whatever they may be. Like, we all get it. So it's a really powerful community to be a part of. Now, that being said, we also don't want anything to hold someone back from connecting in a way that makes sense to them. So we have no requirements of our volunteers other than we have a basic form, to fill out for information, right? But we don't demand a certain number of hours or a certain number of events or anything like that. What we do is we say, come to us. If you're interested, youth are welcome to volunteer with their parents, or if they want to volunteer without their parents, we just have a parent consent agreement that they can have completed. And we have a number of youth that volunteer with us, but we have people of all ages and all backgrounds. And so people can just decide, like, I want to be a part, like the yoga event sounds like something I'd like to volunteer at. So come volunteer at that. See how it feels. We'll help people learn how to table the table and connect people with resources and all of that. We'll give you the training that you need. And but we just want people to, if you're one of our volunteers, you get an email updates like, these are the things coming up. This is what we need volunteers for. And then people say, that speaks to me. And then you're welcome to join us. And we're always, in all of our events, community is welcome. Everyone is welcome. All of our events are completely free, down to if we have food, it's free. If we are giving out t-shirts, it's free. No one ever has to bring $1 to our events because we don't want that to be a barrier to anyone in being a part of the event. So, so just coming and attending, we welcome everyone.
Good. Well, guys, if you have any questions and want to learn more about how can you be a part of Semicolon Society, I'll have some information and Instagram link below, so then that way you can access the website, contact information if you have any questions.
Yes, please do. Our website, we have our events, but we also have lots of resources and information on what to do if you're concerned about someone or if you've experienced a suicide loss. We have lots of resources and information on the website as well. So we want people to use that as a resource, whether they connect with our actual events or not.
What would you say, and I know there's probably so many things that could be said, right? It's not just one thing. But let's say somebody watching right now is struggling. What would you tell them?
So if someone is struggling right now, the thing I would say is that it's okay. It's okay to be wherever you're at. When we're concerned about someone, if you're watching and you're concerned about someone, the first thing to do is to reach out to them. Don't ever wait for someone to come to you. If you are concerned, reach out to them and just tell them what you've noticed. Say, I've noticed this. I'm concerned about you because of this. I love you. I care about you. When we are communicating as human beings, we're looking for validation and support across all things. So whenever you're talking to someone and someone is expressing that they're frustrated or sad or angry or suicidal, whatever it may be, validation sounds like, I hear you. I hear you. Support sounds like, I'm here for you. And then focus on what you can do in that moment. Together, let's figure out what to do next.
No judgment.
No judgment, right. I'm just here for you. I love you. I care about you. let's figure this out. Let's figure out what to do next. Next steps can be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
There are crisis lines for a reason. Like 988 is a crisis line. They get millions of calls every year because people need that support.
Yes.
And that can be a number that you contact. So if you're struggling yourself, you can contact 988. But if you're concerned about someone, you can contact 988. You can contact 988 together with someone that you're concerned about. But so if you're concerned about someone, reach out today and say something. Don't wait for that person to come to you. And if you are that person who is struggling, think about what you can do that's one step right now from where you're at. And maybe that is just sending a text message to a friend. Maybe that is reaching out to a crisis line. Maybe that's, I'm going to go step outside today and do something different. We're looking for hope and connection. So finding ways, where can I find a piece of hope? Where can I find connection? Where can I find a space where I feel like I matter and that I belong?
Absolutely. Such important work that you're doing. Again, thank you, Dr. Paula, for being here today and sharing all of this wisdom, and share this video with anybody that you know. It's a great resource to not just help yourself, but bring awareness and share it with others, share it with the world. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I have one final question for you. How do you stand and empower?
I have multiple answers to that came into my head. First of all, I try to stand and empower as a model to other people. So if I'm struggling, I will share that and I will still show that I can still step forward. I will try to stand and empower by giving people support, being careful about the words that I use, thinking about that the person I'm talking today could be struggling. And so whatever I say could really matter right now. And I try to encourage and empower people. And then we also have to take that step and stand and empower for ourselves too, right? So I think about that, and how do I recognize my own need to step away, or for self-care, or to make those connections, right? Have I connected with someone on a personal level today, not just a work level or a nonprofit level, you know, like, so I think, I love that. I think just stand and empower. I think that can just be emblazoned in our minds. It's like, how do you stand and empower every day?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so true what you said. You have to think about yourselves too in that moment, not just others, but it's you. How can you continue to do what you do and give back if you're not taking care of yourself?
Right. Exactly.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
If you have any questions for Dr. Paula, please reach out to her. Her information will be in the Instagram link. And remember to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. We'll see you next time at Stand and Empower.
Thank you.